Wonderful. So that should have all started for everyone. I'll just close that bit, whilst I can see every single word that I've actually just said. So welcome. My name is David Priest. I am a recruitment and coordinator for Inspired Care. Thank you for coming to our value-based interviewing workshop. We've reduced it down quite a bit. It used to be quite long that we did it for about 2.5 hours. So I have really reduced it down to give you the information in a most pointful way. Get through the information for you in a way that's easy to understand, rather than giving you all of the background information that goes along with it. So it really makes it a more practical way of doing things and how to actually get value-based interviewing started within your company. So our team consists of 4 people. There's myself, which I've just said is a social care recruitment and retention officer. I deal with more of the marketing and the developing the workforce. I've got Jenny, who's on annual leave today. She is in charge of the future workforce and is the ambassador lead. We've got Michelle, who's our external workforce lead and project manager at Inspired Care, who, there she is. And we've got Sam Kelly, who is our project support administrator, and she's in charge of all of our communications and our finances. Do you want to say hello, Sam?
Hello.
Thank you. So we're going to start with a Mentimeter. So many of you may have already done these before. It's just a set of questions that you can access through your phone. So all you have to do is go to menti.com. And then pop in that code. So that's 2551 4454. Lovely. So hopefully that will be live for everyone. Has that come up on yours, Michelle? Have you gone onto it?
Hang on, I just not quite finished. 2551. 4554. Oh.
Oh, so that's moved on for me. So I'm not going to share the screen of the Mentimeter because that will make me re-upload all of the presentation, and that will probably take the majority of our time. So the first question I've got is, which method of interviewing do you normally conduct? So we've got the traditional way of interviewing, we've got value-based, and then we've got trial run. So trial run you would tend to see more in a care home setting, where people come in and do a shift, supervised as part of the induction. Traditional, you've got normal questions, face-to-face interview. During COVID and everything, we were doing them over Teams. And then we've got value-based, which is what we're learning about today. So the majority of the people still do traditional interviewing, which I guess makes sense with you coming to the workshop today. So that's lovely. Thank you very much. We've got the next question, which is a ranking system. So just want to know what you find to be the most important when it comes to recruitment. So is it experience, who they are as a person, what qualifications they have, or if that they've already been trained by another provider previously? So for first, we've got experience. Second is who they are as a person. Third, we've got qualifications. And fourth, we've got already trained. So we've just had some more people put theirs in, and experience is still winning there. So the next bit is a word cloud. So I just want you to put in 3 words that you consider to be people's values. So the main one that we all think about within social care is that they're a caring person. So caring is definitely the one that most people will know of, but just put any more that you can think of at the minute.
Right, compassionate.
So the most popular at the moment is honest. Then we've got caring, kind, patient, empathy, teamwork, positive, reliable, competent, integrity. So there's some really good examples of values. And then the last one we've got, well, I believe it's the last one, is a multiple choice with what do you know? How much do you know about value-based recruitment? So nothing, you've heard of it, you've researched it, so now you just want to know how to do it, and you currently do it and you just want a bit of a refresher, which is absolutely fine. So we've got the majority of people saying that they've heard of it. And then we've got one person that says nothing, and then one person just wants a refresher. With the refresher as well, things do change with value-based recruitment. There's lots of research going on about it all the time. So let's see if I can find the presentation again. There you are. So with all of the presentations that Inspire to Care do with our topic conferences, we want it to fit into the new CQC framework. So I'm sure you're all aware that things have changed with it now, and they'll be looking at more of the statements. So by coming to each of our topic conferences, you'll receive a certificate at the end of them that you can display in your office. You can keep for when it comes time for inspections, and it will just state that you came to our topic conferences so that you can evidence it for these ones. So we all know that the well-led is the hardest category to evidence to. So luckily this one will give you 3 marks towards that. By coming, it shows that you're a capable, compassionate and inclusive leader. And value-based recruitment is all about being inclusive and treating everyone for who they are as a person. Shared direction and culture. It's a big push at the minute to get value-based interviewing as the standard for adult social care. Learning, improvement and innovation. You've come, you want to learn about it, you want to change things, and you want to be innovative by making these changes within your company. And then we've got caring, which is workforce wellbeing and enablement. By doing value-based recruitment, you'll be making sure that people are around people with good values like themselves, which will overall increase their well-being. So we've got 2 examples here. If it was face-to-face, I'd get you to put your hands up about which one you would interview. But there's 2 examples of some CVs. So we've got Marie, who's got previous work experience, wrote a bit more about themselves, what sort of jobs they've done and what sort of tasks they've done. And then we've got Ashley, who hasn't got any experience, well, professional experience, but has wrote just a paragraph about themselves to let you know a bit more about them. So the thing is, when people look at this, people would automatically say, like, they'd offer Marie an interview. But in value-based recruitment, you naturally offer both of them an interview because a bit of paper does not show who they are as a person. So why should you use VBI? So you can make every application count. Like it just says, if they've wrote something about who they are as a person or something intrigues you with it, then offer them an interview so it widens your candidate pool. You'll be more selective with the people that you can recruit because, of course, if you're interviewing more people, you're going to have more people to choose from. You will see more people than normal fail interview. Obviously, you're interviewing more people, so more people are going to fail the interview, but you'll have a lot more people to interview overall. So with the data, I'm not going to read through all of it. This bit basically says that anyone that was doing value-based recruitment has stronger staff retention. So there was an average staff turnover reduced by 5.6%, which is a massive amount if you think of it as like 100 people. And the employees that use value-based approach was 19%. Employees that use traditional methods were at 25.4% of turnover. So this is the cost comparison between the two types. So with the value-based employer, the staff, you've each recruited 100 staff. Staff turnover is lower at 19%. The recruitment costs are the same. Overall, because of the staff turnover difference, your recruitment costs is lower than traditional. Training costs stay the same, average salary is the same. But the thing where value-based recruitment differs mostly is that the average time for someone to reach their top performance is 12 weeks. Obviously, they've not done the work before. They may need a bit extra support. They may need longer shadowing shifts, stuff like that. But overall, value-based recruitment is a lot cheaper. So VBI, so value-based interviewing, is just a part of value-based recruitment. It's a massive subject that, if there is enough interest, we will be doing a topic conference that covers all the other aspects. But the first bit that you want to do is define your company's values. So what does your company stand for? If you're a smaller company, what does the manager stand for that they want passed on throughout all of the staff that they recruit? If it's a bigger company, speak to the CEO, see what's important to them, see why they started the company. So then you want to use your company values to attract staff. Then use your values in the application stages. Then it's the VBI. And then you want to continue using your values as you induct people with supervisions, training, and how you manage your staff. So it's important to remember that VBI can be used in all provider types. It's not specific to anyone. All of the roles within each provider type can be recruited through using VBI. And all experience levels can be recruited using VBI. Just because someone's got 20 years experience doesn't mean that they're going to have the values that match your company. And that's what's important to remember. If everyone's got all of the same values that work for you, and you take someone on based on their experience and there's a clash, then it will create some upset within the work environment, and everyone wants work to be as peaceful as possible. So with interviewing, obviously there's lots of different aspects to it, but a big part that we focus on in VBI is body language. So 93% of communication is non-verbal. Only 7% of it's actually the words that we say. We've got 38% that is the tone in which we speak, and 55% is actually your body language that people pick up on. So with understanding of body language, Again, shan't read through them all. We'll send this out to everyone afterwards. But it's things like with eyes, if they glance to the left, it's a sign of honesty. If they glance to the right, it's a sign of deception. If people sit with open arms and quite mobile with their arms, is a positive sign. It shows that they're engaged and they're listening. Crossed arms is a sign of being defensive and worried about what they might say or what might be asked of them. And then posture, obviously, we notice if someone's sat straight back, relaxed, everything like that, rather than slouch forward and droop neck, where obviously they might not have much confidence, or they might feel weak, or they may just not actually be interested. But it's important to consider candidates with additional needs when looking at things with body language. Obviously, you don't want to discriminate against someone that has no control over what they do. So some common values found in adult social care are the ones that we've listed there. There's so many more they can use. These are just things to get you start to think about things. So what I want you to do now is just briefly, just for a couple of minutes, have a think about what your company values are. Pick 5 that are most important to you. Again, you may want to go back to someone else afterwards and just reassess them. But this is what's important to you right now in this moment. So I'll just give you a couple of minutes till 21 minutes past, and then we will come back because you want these for your future tasks today. Okay. Right, lovely. So hopefully you've picked out 5 values that are important to you and your company. So the next stage that we want to look at is the pre-screens. I'm sure some of you already use telephone pre-screens when someone rings up and applies for a job. But what you want to do is ask them to score themselves on each of the values that you've picked out. Obviously, if you picked caring, no one's going to say that they strongly disagree that they are a caring person if they're coming to work in adult social care. But this just gets them thinking about values, gets them thinking about who they are as a person in preparation for the interview. So your pre-screen questions, it's not something that I'm going to ask you to do now, but it'll be a task for after the workshop. So you want to create 5 pre-screen questions that reflect your values. So it could be, would you consider yourself to be a caring person? Do you agree, disagree, whichever? Do you consider yourself to be honest? Again, same answer. So you want to keep it quite consistent with it. Just get people thinking about them words. So when creating the actual interview questions, we're going to use something called the EARL system. So each of the letters stand for something else, obviously. So EARL is for example. So remember, we are assessing their values, not their adult social care experience. We welcome those examples from their personal experiences, school, even employment in other sectors. So your main question could be, you said you were that caring is a lot like you. Tell me about the time when you have been caring. Can you give me an example of when you were caring? And then we want to ask a follow-up question. So you want a follow-up question for each of the questions that you were asking. How did you go about doing that? How do you think this shows that you are caring? Is a good example. We will send out afterwards as well example interview questions and a template for you to use so that you can create your own. So don't feel like you have to remember all of this all at once. So next one is assessment. So you want to ask them why this was important for them to do. Why did you choose to deal with it in that situation? And how did it make you feel? Again, this will get them to assess themselves more as well as they go through. Got R, which is result. So what was the outcome? What was the impact of what you did for the other people? And did you do the right thing? And how did you know that you did that? And we've got out, so learning. So has this experience helped you do anything differently? What did you learn about yourself? Looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently? So using all the body language and the tone and everything like that, you'll be able to see if someone has had to quickly make it up on the spot, or if it's something that they already know as a good example. So that's why we ask those questions on a pre-screen, because it will get people start to think about things that are in their personal life that will match up to them values. So you don't want to ask too many of the values. You want to stick to the 5 values that you've assessed are important to you, or else your interview will go on for hours and hours. So when you're scoring your interviews, it's important to have model answers for each one. So what a positive answer would be, so it can provide a relevant example, treats the person with respect and dignity regardless of the situation, that they're approachable, they've got good body language, they've got a nice tone about them, and spends time listening and respects the rights of the person to make their own decisions, and reflects on the experience, and even willing to learn on something that is already positive. Some negative ones could be that they can't provide a relevant experience. Obviously, that's a I don't know answer. Doesn't treat the person with dignity or respect. So a good way of judging that is, if you're in that situation, how would you want to be treated? Express the situation to be a hindrance or a nuisance to them, basically, and that's why they had to do something. Is insensitive and isn't reflective and doesn't put learning into practice. So if they say, oh, I went and helped my neighbour, but I didn't really want to, but I felt like I had to do it. And then when it gets to the learning bit, what would you have done differently? I probably wouldn't have even done it because it turned out to be too much hard work. Then that would be a severely negative answer. So you want to stick with consistent scoring. So candidates couldn't provide an example at all would have a 0. Unsatisfactory, you get 1 point. Satisfactory, you get 2 points, and good, you get 3. So with unsatisfactory, the candidate provided a weak example with limited evidence of value being assessed. Evidence were mostly from non-aligned indicators, or if you've got some major concerns. Satisfactory provided a good example, demonstrated most aligned indicators. Non-aligned indicators were of minor concern. So if there's nothing that makes you think, oh, that's not very good, then it'll probably fall into satisfactory. Then with good, the candidate provided a strong example with aligned indicators and there is no concerns. So each of you will have your own method of deciding the outcome of the interview, but it's important to stay consistent with your scoring. Try and set your own set of rules to follow. Below it is an example of pass and fails. So with the fails, so question 1 got a 2. So I would say for me, I would want it to be about a 12 for someone to pass. If they've scored a 0 on any of them, that would be an automatic fail for me. As you can see on the pass side, the lowest they got was 2 on there, which pushed them over the 12 mark into a pass. So the interviewer, you want to make sure that the interviewers also follows your values as well. But you may also want to think about putting in things such as like panel interviews. So with doing a panel, it reduces the risk of a bad hire, enables answers to be fully recorded, ensures safety against allegations, upskills and develops existing staff, which is always a bonus, gives candidate better insight to how the company and how they will fit in. You want to make sure that the interview has the right skill set, so has received training to interview, which we are more than happy to help with if you do have someone that you are thinking about having trained to do interviewing. Is fully prepared for when they arrive, good listening skills, comfortable to be around, confident and friendly, knows the values that have been set and what it means for the company. So we may know the words, but what does the word actually mean for that company? Some things can vary slightly, so it's a good thing to clarify each of them as fully as possible. Easy to talk with and have a fluid conversation. So with the values of the interviewer, it's important that they have their own values as well. So you want to make sure that they are accountable, so they'll take responsibility for their actions. Empathetic, so to be considerate and understanding of other people's feelings. Obviously, people get nervous during interviews, so it's important to understand that. Caring, to display kindness and concern for others. Honesty, trustworthy and open. And integrity, lead by example within the interviews. So this is the bit where I'm going to ask you to design a couple of questions for me. So I would typically say do 5, but what I'd like you to do is just create one value-based interview question, pop them into the chat for me if you can. I will give you about 5 minutes, so we'll come back at 36 and then I'll have a read through them for you. Okay, thanks, bye. Right, they're great. Michelle's just typing something and then I will have a look through. Just stop typing. I'm sure she will reappear.
I was just reading and liking the examples, David, that's all.
Or you were writing one of your essays again.
No, sorry, not this time. Sorry to disappoint.
No, it's all right. So I was having a look through as they were coming through. Really like Lisa's one about diverse backgrounds and preferences of people you support. I think that can evaluate a few different values at the same time. Challenging the colleague, that's a good one to have on because it will let you know who, if they are more likely to do things calmly, I guess. So diffuse the situation between two clients, yeah. Why is it important to help others? And when you felt really motivated by supporting, caring and providing services to it. That's a great one. And follow-up questions, that's brilliant. So that makes me feel a lot better that I've explained it correctly to everyone. And you all understand exactly where we are coming from with value-based questions. So again, I'll send out the template so that you can do a full set of them, but they're the sort of things that you do want to use during it. Remember to have some follow-up questions prepared as well. It could be that you want follow-up questions depending on the situation, so it may not be the right question for that example. So maybe think about what else you could use if they say something different. So I've gone through this very quickly, a lot quicker than I thought I would be able to get through them. So going forward, go onto your job adverts and just simply write in what your company values are within the job advert. People will look at them, they'll decide for themselves whether they are right for your company. And then at that point, you can start assessing them for that as well. You want to embed it into your supervisions, so into any probationary meetings, supervisions, team meetings, and annual appraisals. See if you can get some examples from people that they've shown the company values. You could even use them in a bit of promotional material as well. So really instill all of your values into all of your different aspects and let us know how you're getting on with everything. So if you have any issues with anything or if you've got any further questions, you are more than welcome to email any member of the staff. I'm sure Michelle will pop the Inspired Care email address in the chat for me, please, Michelle. Thank you. Any questions, feel free to ask us. We will send everything out to you. But first, I've got one more Mentimeter for you to do, and then we can go on to some questions that you may have. So again, it's go to menti.com and then type in the number for me. Just do one of the little thumbs up things when you get into it so I know that everyone's here better. Wonderful. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. So the first question is, will you be using part of value-based interviewing techniques going forward? Well, that's wonderful. That's everyone as a yes, which is great. So next one is what values are most important to you? So which ones, when you were thinking about it, would you say are the ones that first came to your mind as being what you would like to assess people on? Wonderful. So the main one we've got at the moment is compassionate, person-centered, diversity inclusive, honest, kind, caring, reliable, integrity, timekeeping, compassion, empathy, resilience has just took over. And that's brilliant. So what I'll do with the mentees as well is I'll screenshot them and pop them into a document so you can see what everyone else has put as well, just in case you want some ideas with stuff. And then that is the end of that. So now is your chance to ask any questions that you might have. Feel free to raise your hands. If you don't have any, that's absolutely fine. If you want to go away and have a think and then pop them in an email to us, more than welcome to do that as well. I'll just give you a couple of minutes to have a think. This is the awkward bit where I just stare into space. Natalie's typing. Yes, Lisa, the slides will be sent through to everyone. Hello, Julie. Yes, that's absolutely fine. Just pop Julie's full name in for me into the chat, and then we can get another certificate sent out. If that's all right with you, Sam? That's great. Right, perfect. So thank you very much for coming. Again, get everything sent out to you probably later today or tomorrow morning. If you've got any questions in the meantime, feel free to ask. And you can find everything in our members area as well, additionally with some extra resources if you want to do a bit more of a in-depth assessment into your values. But if you're all good, then so am I. And thank you very much for coming. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.